All right, guys. A few days ago, I was talking about types of turbulence, different types of turbulence. And what I want to talk about today is just one in particular. One type that most sellers are concerned with. And that is the number one thing that most sellers ask about. They're concerned about being able to locate another home. Their replacement property, their down leg property, whatever term you want to use. There's so few homes on the market right now. What home, or how do I go about finding another home? I don't want to be homeless. People are concerned about being homeless. And I get that, I understand. There's a few easy ways to settle that problem. The first one, see if my pen holds out, is to write a counteroffer. When your buyer writes an offer, you can write a counteroffer that says contingent upon seller locating a home of choice. So that's okay to do, but we want to have a time period. I like to have a time period on there. So when you say locating, subject to or contingent upon locating a home of choice, seller can now go out and shop for a property. We put our deal together subject to or contingent upon that deal being them finding a home of choice. That's fine, but there's no limit on time. There's no deadline to that. So I like to say something like within 30 days or some time period. We want the seller to have a way out of the contract so they're not homeless, but also we want to have a limited time frame. Because when we leave it wide open like this, what we'll find is the buyers are not going to want part of that. They're going to cancel, or they're not going to be open to. You want to have a deadline of some kind. So write the offer, the counteroffer. Typically, what we do in California, at least, contingent upon the seller locating a home of choice within 30 days or some time period, whatever that time period might be. Another option is we can close the escrow. We can close the escrow, so we go ahead and sell it. And then do what's called leaseback or rent back, and lease back the property. And what we can do there is we close, let's say 30 or 35 days, something like that. And then at the end of that time, the seller does a rent back or lease back. They basically become a renter in their former property. And that works out really well because in this case, the seller has the money already. So if they sold their house for whatever amount, and if they had, let's say 50 or 100, $200,000 equity, whatever that number is, they've got their equity, it's in their bank account, and now they're out shopping with that money in hand, so to speak. So they become a very, very strong buyer at that point. We close and then we just lease it back. In this scenario, when they're out looking, when a homeowner might be out shopping, it's a little bit weaker offer if your deal's not closed yet. In this case, it's a much stronger offer for the would-be seller on the other side to consider taking your deal, because now you're a non-contingent buyer. The seller here is a contingent buyer. They're out shopping for a home and it's contingent upon their home closing escrow. In this case, it's already closed escrow. So you want to make sure you can do that. The other thing is you could in theory extend the time and let them know that the buyer, the seller has the right to let's say request 30-day extension or some time period like that, where you want to give yourself an extra 30 or 60 or 90 days to locate a home of choice. You could do that. This is far less likely here. Number one and number two by far and away are your top two for able to do that. So if you have any questions on that, give us a call back. But right now, this is addressing the homeless seller situation. Have a good day.